All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Gat Shea Heather Fleming Inishia, Bit Atni Nishle, do Bilagana Bashichin, Trodachini Dashiche do Bilagana Dashanella. And I'm the executive director at Change Labs in Tuba City. And I'm happy to host you today. Usually it's my colleague Marcia Gray Eyes, but she's having trouble with her NTUA broadband this morning. So I'm subbing in for her. Um, Welcome to our webinar today on building and online shop. For those of you who aren't familiar with Change Labs, we're a Navajo nonprofit that's providing creative workspace tools, resources, and knowledge for Native entrepreneurs. But what exactly does that mean? What exactly do we do? So here's a lot of the questions that we frequently get asked. The most popular one I would say is, how do I start a business? So we have a couple ways that we answer that question. First and foremost, everyone in this call today is welcome to join us every Monday for virtual business coaching. We run it from 11 to 4 p.m. and we always have one of our seasoned coaches on hand, and you can ask any question really that you have that day. It could be about business registration. It could be about loans and grants available to you. It could be about how to access land for your business. Really anything is fair game. So that's one resource that we have to offer. And then the second, and probably the thing that we're more known for, is our business incubator. So we just closed the application for the spring 2021 cohort, but we'll be hosting a second cohort in the fall. And if you're at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, or maybe you're thinking about starting a business or a nonprofit, this is a pretty cool one-year program that will help you lay a really strong foundation for your business. You get assigned an executive coach. You're connected to this incredible group of peer entrepreneurs. And we also, or all graduates of the program are eligible for a $10,000 loan through Change Labs. The second question that we get asked a lot, especially now, is how do I create a website? And that's part of the reason why we brought our speaker, Martin, here today. But if that's your question, we also have some other resources I can direct you to. I would highly encourage you to book a free appointment with our in-house resident designer, Mariah Ashley. She's a fabulous Navajo designer, and she can talk you through options for setting up a website, talk you through how much that costs, introduce you to friendly website building platforms, and she can also help you get connected to our YouTube channel. And this is where we're storing all of the fabulous workshops that our speakers are putting together, as well as content that we create at Change Labs to help Native entrepreneurs get their business online, which is particularly important these days. And the other most popular question that we get is, how do I get help running my business? And we have several resources for that. So we're here to help. You can always come in and book a coaching appointment with us. But we also have workspace for you. So if you need desk space, if you need Wi-Fi, color printing, or need help creating marketing materials, we have a studio space in Tuba City that you're welcome to use. Technically, it's closed right now, but tentative reopening is March 1st. And we also have a database of more than 630 Native-owned businesses across the Southwest. So you're looking for a Native accountant to work with, or Native graphic designers or photographers to help you with social media. Log on to resrising.org and look up what you're looking for, and hopefully we can help you get connected to a Native-owned business. If you have more questions about Change Labs and what we do, my colleague Marcia Gray Eyes is our director of co-working, and she's kind of our community manager. So she loves fielding questions from folks. There's her email address, and there's our website if you want to log in and create an appointment with Marcia or with Trish or with Jessica. And I am going to go over a few quick ground rules for our session today. So most of you are already doing this, and I appreciate that. So just stay on mute until we got Q&A, or maybe Martin might say, unmute yourself and ask your question. But generally we prefer, because we're recording this session, that everyone stay on mute until there's a Q&A time. If you do have questions though, type them in the chat window, please do. And we'll be trying to field those questions throughout the presentation. And we'll also field the questions at the end. And yes, this session is being recorded. Marcia is going to be emailing it to all of you once the recording is up on our YouTube channel. If for whatever reason you don't get the email, we'll also be posting it on our Facebook feed, our Twitter feed, and it will just be up on our YouTube channel. And I can put a link to that channel as soon as I'm done talking here and I hand over the reins to our fabulous speaker today, Martin. So I'm going to let Martin start his screen share, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about why we brought him here today. So Martin actually ran a fabulous workshop for us last January. He works at Square down in Southern Arizona. And, you know, the knowledge that he has and the tools that he has working at Square are completely relevant to so many Native entrepreneurs these days, especially if most of your sales to date have been in the cash economy, you know, flea markets or booths or setups. And it's a critical time now more than ever to be able to do transactions online. So we're trying to do everything that we can on Change Labs to make that knowledge available to folks. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our speaker, Martin. Thank you, everybody, for coming today.
Oh, thank you for that, Heather. Are you able to see my screen now? Perfect. Thank you. All right. So yeah, welcome everybody, and thank you for the warm welcome here today. To basically, we're going to build a website, right? So I know, you know, the need for a website, especially last year at the beginning of COVID and just all the lockdowns and not being able to be out and about and making sales in person was a huge need, and we saw that you know, from quite a few of our sellers. So instead of just talking about, you know, yeah, you should get a website going, you know, maybe do one here. Think about it like for this specific webinar, I'm going to go step by step on how to build one with Square. So most of you probably know Square, you know, for the little white reader, right? That's how we got started over 10 years ago. And a lot of you are at, or were at least at fairs, markets, you know, things like that, selling your goods, services in person and taking those payments in person. Well, with, you know, again, shelter in place and lockdowns, all of that disappeared. Slowly coming back, but having that online presence or being able to have folks be able to take a digital payment is in real need. So we're going to go over again. Like I said, we're going to build a website today with Square Online. And the great feature about Square Online is it syncs automatically with your in-person payments. So everything you do, you know, online and in person, in your sales, your items, all that syncs together. All your reporting is in one place. If you're you know, tracking your inventory, everything kind of matches up as well. So if you sell out, it's sold out. So let me go ahead and get this going here. So we're going to just, like I said, we're going to go step by step through the process here. We're going to build a website. I'm going to publish it. I'm going to then place an order, and they're going to see where we place those orders. And at the end, I'm going to show you some other ways to take payments electronically. Maybe you don't absolutely need a website, but you need a way to send someone or to have someone pay you electronically and securely. We can do that with checkout links as well. So we're going to go over all of that here. So first up, we're going to start right in our main dashboard here. So you can see when you log into Square, you're going to be right in your dashboard. And you'll see the online option over on the left-hand side, that blue online button, right? So to contextualize this, we'll be walking through these steps as though I'm a real merchant, right? A real shop getting set up on Square Online for the very first time. In order to boost my sales, I want to offer online ordering with the option for curbside pickup for people local to me and shipping for anyone nationwide. We're going to call it Mike's Bikes. So again, I'm just going to click on online there. And actually, we're going to see these are all my items. You can see all of my items here. Those are all the items I'm going to sell. For those of you that may be new to Square or use Square, like I see a lot of folks just typing in amounts and charging folks, you really want to set up your items properly because this is going to give you more data, better reporting, and be able to show up more, better on your receipts. So these are all the items I sell in person. If you're using Square, this might be familiar, right? The picture on the left there is the iPad, the way my items look on the iPad, and to the right there, the way it looks on my phone, which for most small entrepreneurs are just using the app on their phone. You can see that on the right-hand side. So we're going to take those items, put them onto a website, and be able to sell them. So I click that blue online store button. It takes me here, gives me more info about the online store builder and to get started. So I'm just going to click on that. And then we're going to get prompted here to select what kind of page we want to get going here. 1 second here. All right, so we have a couple options here. So I can do a single ordering page, which is great for getting set up really quickly. Maybe you have just a small amount of items, or you can do a full page website or a multi-page website, right, with all the pages. And then a great way to get set up for a lot of folks now is our Instagram page. So if you're doing a lot of posting on Instagram, and for most that means posting, your best pictures on Instagram, this is a way where you can connect your Instagram account right into the online store and display all of your posts, and then just tag those to be able to sell online. And then we have the option there for checkout links, which we'll go over at the end here. I'm just going to choose a single ordering page because I want to get up and running quickly. But just as a side note here, if I pick one page, the one page, single page, I can always add more pages and vice versa with the multi-page. I can add, delete. It's fully customizable. You're not stuck in any one specific way. And then just another note here, everything we're going to be doing on here is going to be on our free website builder, right? So Square, like I said, Square's been around for over 10 years now. A little over 2.5 years ago, it's going to almost be 3 years now in March or May, Square purchased a company called Weebly.com. And that's where I was for the previous 5 years at Weebly.com. They purchased Weebly.com to be the online component, right? Square already had the in-person, the Square stands, the registers, the handheld contactless chip readers, right? So very good for in-person. They didn't have that online component, so they purchased Weebly. Weebly built this new online store builder. But in order to differentiate ourselves from GoDaddy and Shopify and Wix and all that, we have a truly free format here where you can get up and running and selling really quickly. All right, so next up, it's going to ask me how I plan to fulfill my orders, right? Again, I want to offer shipping to my buyers and pickup. These can be adjusted later on if you need be. If you're a restaurant, right, you can allow the delivery. You can do pickup for a restaurant as well. Or we also have the bottom one is self-serve ordering, which is setting up ordering by a QR code. So let's say if you're a restaurant and you have tables outside, you can set up a QR code for each table, and then I can sit down, I can scan it, I can place my order, and that goes into your kitchen, and then you just bring the order out, right? No need for paper or plastic menus. Your server doesn't have to come over as much, so minimizing all of the contact there. All right, so after making those choices, it's going to start loading the beginnings of my store. Here's where it's going to sync over all of my items, my store information, all of that. All right, once it's done, it's going to drop me off at the main dashboard for everything online store related. You can see pretty much everything we're going to need to do is from the left-hand side here. All right, so after that initial onboarding, we can go right into editing the website, but I don't want to do that just yet. I want to make sure all of my back-end settings are all in place before we go live, right? So I'm just going to walk you through just the back end of it here so you can become familiar with it, see what it looks like, and any settings you may need to adjust. All right, so again, everything on the left-hand side here. I'm going to go on the bottom left-hand, there is settings, and I'm just going to go through each option real quick here, just a broad overview. You can also see like a setup guide is popped up on the right here with some quick short videos guiding you, to get your site done. Again, this platform is meant to be self-onboarding. It's all do-it-yourself, but again, we want to help you as much as we can. So we're going to have quite a few flows and onboarding sections here to walk you through that very easily. All right, so clicking on settings here, we've got some drop downs. First one is general. Not a whole lot to do here. This is all brought over from your Square dashboard. If you needed to make any changes, you could. The next one is your item settings. This is whether you want to control whether the low stock or out of stock badges show up. That's on by default because if you're doing retail, that would be a great option to have. Next up are the checkout settings. I want to make sure I have accept online orders turned on. It is also useful, very useful, to have Apple and Google Pay turned on so people can easily order from their phones, right, or their devices if they're on an Apple or a Google computer. No additional cost for these. Nothing you have to do to set them up. They just have to be on. We take care of the rest. That's already integrated. Really important feature there because we know, I mean, well over 50% of online sales are coming from a mobile device. So giving them quick and easy ways to be able to pay you makes it that much easier. Right. And for that accept online orders, if I ever wanted to just stop being able to take orders, I could just toggle that off. My site would still be up and running, but no one could place an order. In the upper right-hand corner here, I'm going to click on advanced settings, some options to point out here. All right, so my currency is set by my overall account, nothing to do there. Checkout mode, again, if you have very limited items and most folks are just buying one, you can do the buy now, which takes them right straight to checkout. But add to cart is default. That lets you add multiple items to cart, buy multiple items. That's going to be the majority of yours there. Scrolling down, and here I have pickup set as the default option. Again, most of my bikes are going to be sold locally. Folks are going to pay for it online and then just come pick it up. Same page here, but just scrolling down a little bit. I definitely want to allow my customers to receive text message alerts. We'll see an example of that when I place an order here in a little bit. I'm also going to turn on the leave a note to seller. That's the last option at the checkout flow where it's like, hey, I'm going to be picking up at noon, or I'm going to be in a blue Toyota. Just anything you want to convey to the actual seller. Right, click and make sure all my stuff is there. Click save. All right, so store emails. Here you can customize the look and feel of the automated emails that get sent out by your store. Just a flag here, best practice. If you have a custom domain name or a custom email, it's always best to use that as your sender profile versus, just a Gmail or a Yahoo or AOL address. That way you'll see less email flagged as spam because it's number one, it's automated being sent out. And then if it's coming from, like I said, just a free type of email like that, those tend to get flagged for spam more often. Abandoned carts. This is an upgraded feature here, but you're probably going to be familiar with it. So when you go through the checkout flow, the very first thing we ask for is your email address, and that's by default. So if you leave and don't purchase, you close the window, you don't come back after a certain amount of time, you can set it up where it sends an email out, right? Hey, you've left something in the cart, come back to buy it, or you can even include like a coupon code. I'm going to skip over shipping, pickup, because we're going to go over those in more detail. Right now, I'm just going to go over to the taxes section. And then again, we've got an onboarding flow here that just basically asks you questions, you fill in the best answers, and it'll set that up for you. So again, tax modal here is going to walk you through the best configuration, just follow through the flow, make the best choices for your business. And then my tax rates are set, and then I can customize them here even more. I'm not a tax professional, so when that comes to that, you definitely want to check, with a tax professional for any tax liabilities. We do our best here to offer that, but in the end, that's ultimately, up to you. All right, the last option here under settings is Square Sync. This section allows me to control the syncing of things like item photos and descriptions. Probably really the only one you would ever touch here is descriptions, right? So think about if you're selling in person, you're on the iPad, you're selling, or even on the phone, right? You're selling, the description doesn't really matter, right? The whole, oh, this is a, made from pure silk and, handmade and this and that, right? Your buyer doesn't see that, but they do see that online, right? So you can have different descriptions for in person and online. All right, so I know that was kind of a lot, right? But most of it is pretty much set it and forget it type stuff. So, but it is important to be aware of it. All right, so next section here, we want to go through also necessary. We want to be ready to set up and take orders, right? I definitely want to charge for shipping because my bike's obviously very heavy and I don't want to eat all of that cost here. All right, so back to the settings tab on the left here and just clicking on the shipping section. Here again, we have an onboarding flow to make it easy for you, right? I'm clicking on set up shipping to get started. And here I can add rates and regions. Regions would be like, I can have rates for US, I can have rates for Canada, and I can have rates for Mexico, right? Those would be different regions. They would have their own independent rates here. I'm just gonna click add shipping rate. And then here we have all of the different options for setting up shipping rates. I'm just gonna add a rate based on order total for shipping within the US. So now, because I'm only setting up a region for the US, if someone in Mexico, Canada, or Australia, right, goes to my website, they'll see it. But once they go through the checkout flow, it's going to say, sorry, we don't ship to your country, right? Because when they put in their address, and it's not a US address, it's going to cross-reference my shipping region. It's going to say, sorry, we don't ship to your region. All right, and here also, it includes all of the states, including Hawaii and Alaska. I'm going to uncheck those because I don't want to ship to Hawaii or Alaska because it's going to be just a ton of work for me and a lot of cost. All right, so I'm adding my rates here. I see some small, I also sell small items. So you see the $5 rate here is for orders up to $100. None of my bikes are under $100, so that won't ever apply to them. The other two rates will apply to bicycle orders here, right? So if someone places an order over, over 50 to actually $101 to $800 in this case, they'll get a $50 rate. If they charge, or if their cart is $801 to $2,000, it would charge them $100 for shipping. And then I have a backup rate here. So if there's someone buys something for over $2,000, that would be, maybe 4 or 5 bikes, it would charge them shipping for $225. I could also make that a really, really high rate. So then they're like, man, I'm not going to pay that shipping cost, maybe, and then they would give me a call and maybe work out a different rate for them. All right, so those are my rates. I'm going to click done here. And then we can see my rates here. I can keep adding rates. We saw back a little bit earlier, you can also add a rate for like free shipping for over a certain amount or for certain items that would automatically apply at checkout. But I'm good here with that. Pretty simple matrix here. I'm going to click save. All right, so shipping is set up. Now I'm going to do in-store and curbside pickup. Again, I have a local store. And for most folks, to get them in and out quickly, right? I want them just to pay online and show up. I can just throw the bike in the back of their truck or their car or whatever. So we're going to set that up now. All right, so again, pickup and delivery section. I'm able to see my locations here and toggle them on or off for pickup and delivery. If I had multiple locations, I could offer pickup at one location. I could offer delivery at a separate location. They would act independently, but they would be on the same website. So I don't have to build 2 websites for multiple locations. All right, so I'm going to click edit and look at my settings here. Once I do that, we can see kind of a high-level overview of all my current settings. And again, most of this stuff, set it and forget it type stuff, but I just want to show you what it looks like. So the first time you go in there, it's going to be familiar to you. All right, so I'm going to click under hours here. My address is good there. I'm just going to click under my hours. And then here's my hours. Important to note here, these can be separate from my business hours, right? So I'm setting my pickup hours. So let's say I'm open from 9 to 5, but I only want folks to be able to pick up between 10 and 3. I would set that here, right? It would not affect my store operating hours or anything like that. It would just be, they would be given a time between 10 and 3 to pick up their orders. I can also add restricted dates here for any holidays that I might be closed for. Clicking save. Next, I'm clicking into order timing settings, where I have set my prep time to 1 hour. So you can see the drop down there, all the different times here. This is going to be really important, especially for like a kitchen that's doing orders, right? Like how long it takes you to cook food. In my case, if someone places an order for a bike, it gives me an hour, to get it out of the warehouse, bring it up front for them to be able to pick it up. Maybe I have a customer in front of me, because that way I don't have to. They're not saying, oh, I bought a bike. I can just shoot it. They can't be in the parking lot, place an order and walk in and be like, I need my bike now. Like, no, it tells them clearly it's an hour to pick up. So if I order at noon, right, my customer orders at noon, they place an order for pickup, it's going to say, great, you can pick up your bike starting at 1 p.m., right? That's that hour prep time. And you can add different prep times for specific items if you wanted to. So like in the case of a kitchen, right, maybe they have a salad, right, takes 15 minutes to prep. Maybe they have a steak dinner, right, that's longer to prep. They can set that to 30 minutes. So they can set different prep times for specific items. And then here you can also decide if you want to allow your buyers to schedule their pickups and also the limited amount of orders made every 15 minutes. Again, that's a great feature for a kitchen if they don't want to get too many orders and get overwhelmed. All right, click and save here. All right, so next up, I'll click to adjust my pickup settings. I'm allowing curbside pickup, which will give my customers information on how to facilitate this. My customers will see this information on the email confirmation and the text message they get. I can also set a minimum dollar amount for in-store pickup. I don't really want to do that because anyone could just walk in and buy something, so I don't want to do that either. But I want anyone local to be able to order online and just come and pick it up. All right, I save my pickup and delivery settings because I'm not doing delivery, but if I wanted to, I could go do that as well. I can always go in and adjust these separately in the future if I need to. At the top right of the page, however, I'm going to click Advanced Settings, just so you can kind of see what's there as well. All right, here I can make adjustments to my order quantity limits. So in my case, I'm okay with someone buying as many bikes as they want. But let's say, I have a low amount of bikes. I only want to limit my orders to 5 items. I could do that. I can also enable tipping here as well. So again, if you're a restaurant or a food service provider, you can also offer tipping. Not used too much on retail, but it's an option there for you. And then I've also switched on the point of sale alerts so that when someone arrives, they can respond to the text saying that they're here, and then they're going to pop up on my iPad saying someone's here. I can take their bike out and throw it in their trunk. I click save. All right, so we're done with a lot of the back-end setup, right? So think of this as the back of the house type stuff, the stuff that the customer doesn't see but is vital to your organization. If you have any questions about what we just went over, feel free to throw those in the chat. I can answer them as we go along here. But next up, we're going to go into our items, right? Because we've got all our back-end settings here. Now we have our actual items that we want to sell and set those up to be ready to sell. So yeah, feel free. Now we'll do question and answer, of course, at the end as well. But if at any point something comes up, you're like, man, I want to ask that question, feel free to ask that in the chat. All right. So I'm going to click into the items, and we see our item library here, right? Again, like I mentioned earlier, all of my items sync over, so that it's always talking back and forth between your main dashboard and your online store here. So I'm going to click on Select Items to bring over the items I want to sell. Now, if you're let's say you're a jewelry maker and you've got 100, 150 different items that you want to sell, or that you currently sell, like in person, but maybe you only want to sell 25 or 50 of those online. Maybe your top sellers, or maybe the items that you have a lot of in stock that you want to sell online. This is where you would select those specific items, right? So let's say in your item library, let's show me here. So my item library right now, I only have 12 items. So if I only wanted to sell 6 of those, I would uncheck the 6 I don't want to sell, and then I would only have 6 that would appear online. Now, that doesn't prevent me from selling those items in person, right? I still have those items in person. I can still sell those, but this is specifically for what folks are going to see online. Now, you can have 1,000 items in here, but if you only select 50 that you want to sell, they will only ever see the 50 that are on your website. All right, so definitely, I only have 12. I want to sell them all. I'm just going to click done here. Uncheck anything. Okay, so now my items are all here in the item section here. You can see my picture is there, my item. We can click into it to see my description, my price. We can see my inventory there as well if I have stock. We can see all of that here. I'm going to click into one of the bikes and we can see more details. All right, so here I can adjust the title, description, price, and I can add more images, right? So think about on the point of sale system when you're in person, right? You really only have the one picture, because that's all you really need. That's because again, that's facing you, not your buyer. The site is buyer facing. If you wanted to add more images, you could add more images here. You can also add GIFs. So it'll take JPEG, PNG. You can also upload GIFs. And if you're working with like a professional photographer that can do the 360-degree photos, it'll do those as well. So we can see here my description, right? That's going to be more for a buyer to read, right? On my point of sale, I might just have the name of the bike, because that's all I really need. But the description here is what the buyer sees, what they read, makes them more curious about it. Now, at the bottom here, you can see the options for visibility, right? So visible means it can be seen and purchased on my site, on my store page. Hidden means it cannot be seen on my store page, but it can be purchased. I can link to it, or I can have its own page. Unavailable means it cannot be seen or purchased on my online store at all, right? And again, that does not affect it being sold in person. It's just not an item that someone would ever see on your online store. Okay, as I scroll down, I'll see the fulfillment method here. I can see shipping and pickup. If I only wanted to do pickup for this specific item, I could do that because these settings are item specific. And again, I can set that individual prep time for that. I can do all that here. We can see my stock there also. All right, so next up, I want to organize my shop with categories, right? So categories are pretty important to set up because they will help organizing your website with all your different items. So let's say you have 100 items. You don't just want a page with 100 items and someone having to kind of go back and forth through it to see what's for sale there. You can do different categories. So I'm going to click Add Category here. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we want to make this as easy as possible for you. So if you already have categories set up in your Square account, we want to help bring those over, right? So I already had 3 categories set up, so we can see those here. And the very first time we set this up, it's going to be like, hey, do you want to just copy those over instead of creating them manually? Absolutely, I do. Here's my 3 categories, right? I have my 2 types of different bikes and then my accessories, right? So I'm going to do those. If I didn't want one of these, I could uncheck it, but I definitely want those. So like in the case of maybe, again, I go back to the jewelry maker deal with a lot of jewelry makers or artists, right? Different type of art, right? It could be print, it could be oil painting, it could be digital art. Those would be different categories. Or rings, earrings, necklaces, headbands, right? Watches. Those would be different categories for like a jewelry or a maker type. All right. So once my categories are set, right, I can add more categories here if I want to, and add those items in there. But pretty much my items are set and ready to go, right? And now it's time into designing the website. So we're going to be live and taking orders here pretty soon. And again, as we're going through this here, if you have any questions, feel free to just throw it in the chat there. I'll answer as we go along here. All right, so heading into the final stage, right? We've done all the back-end work, and now we're going into the public facing part, right? The actual website that you see when you go online. All right, so we're going to click on the website tab on the left-hand side. And I'm not going to go into edit site just yet. There's a general settings one here as well. A good section to be familiar with. You can adjust your site title. My site address, it usually defaults to something like my site. I've changed it here to Mike's Bikes. That's what's going to show in the browser tab. And then when somebody saves my site as a favorite, it will save that name as well. You definitely want to update that. Scrolling down, you can see I can adjust I can reset my site to default at the very bottom there. So if I'm building my site, I don't like the way it's looking, I can reset it and just kind of start all over to the beginning, which we're going to get to in a minute. It will not reset all of your items and your category and your taxes. That stuff is, once it's set, it's set. There's no erasing that. I mean, you could change it, but there's no just going back to square one there. All right, so scrolling back up, I want to start designing my site. I'm going to go ahead and click Edit Website. All right, and again, we want to make it as easy as possible for you. We have an onboarding flow here. Because of some of my previous selections in my account, it knows, I'm a retail type shop. It'll have some options on the left-hand side selected for me. I can adjust those as I see fit, right? I definitely want to add my Instagram feed. So I've selected that. I also want to display my location and hours. All of these sections can be added or deleted at any time. So don't sweat this part too much, right? You could uncheck all of these sections and start with essentially an all blank page and then add sections as you go. And I've got those there. And then we have to the right there, we have kind of a live preview of what we're building here. Obviously the image is not mine and the text is there just to show you like what could be there. All right, next up, it's going to ask me to upload my business logo, which, if you have one, you should definitely add it here. If you don't have it, then it's just, you can see there, it shows Mike's Bikes as my business name if I didn't have a logo. If you don't have one now, you can always upload one later, right? So like Heather mentioned earlier, they do have some design folks on hand there. Not sure if they do logo work, but if you don't have one, I would highly recommend doing that. because that's really important to your overall brand. Having that logo, right? You can share that on your social media, business cards, flyers, any of that. So I would highly recommend doing that, and relatively inexpensive as well. I'm going to upload my logo and then click next. All right, there's my logo. And then here I'm going to select my font, my color scheme. Again, those can be changed at any point. So if you see the color codes here and yours isn't one of these, you can always change that later and add your specific hex code for your colors. And then I'm just going to, I'm done in the initial onboarding flow. And it's going to take us right into the editor here. I'm just going to click finish. Okay, so that's going to drop us in the editor. First thing we get prompted here is to select a domain name. I'm going to exit out of that right now because I'm just going to set my domain once I'm ready to publish. So I'm going to start putting this website together. And again, so 3 main areas to the builder. On the left is your edit panel. It shows the sections that your page is made up of. And so really important here. So you probably saw there's no theme, right? There's no template that we selected. It's all going to be just do it yourself and based off of different sections that you select. Right? You can add different sections as you go. You can adjust them. I can drag those sections up and down, move them where I want. It'll make more sense here as we go along. But at the top, we have our main navigation. In the middle there in blue and to the center, it's kind of the preview of how our site looks and where you make direct edits to your text. So like that live in moments that matter. I'm going to click on that and I can just type in the text that I want. Up top, upper right here, we've got our publish button, our preview button. You can always preview what it would look like live at any point. And then in the upper left, we have like our page navigation and our different another section where you can add sections, pages, like that. So sections are blocks of content layouts that you can add and customize. Within each section is a set of pre-designed professional layouts. So when you're building your website, you can have an endless combination of sections, layouts, pages, colors, photos, right, that you can put together. All right, so we can see I have my mouse over the main banner. So being that it's highlighted in blue, we know that's that section. I'm going to click into it so I can customize it. All right, so now we can see on the left-hand side, pretty much everything is done from the left-hand side here. We can see all the different layouts I have there, right? So you can see it's got the little previews there. And as you click on them, it will change when you go through there. I can change my where my button is, where the text is. Yes, looks like someone has a question here. I'll wait till they're finished typing here. All right, so I can pick my section here. I can go through that. And then within each section, like you can do different things here, right? So I would be able to show the mouse. I'm not actually in a live account here. It's just I've just done screenshots here, so it won't be so slow when I get in there. But we can actually get into a live account here in a little bit, and so you can see that. But yeah, good question. Yeah, that's the thing. It's all just screenshots of me going through there for speed here. So within each section style, right on the left-hand side here, I can turn off the button. I can remove the headline. I can add an image here, right? I definitely want to set an image here for my main banner because that is going to, that's what's kind of called a hero image, that very first image people see on your website before doing any scrolling here. So I want to, and that'll set a good tone for the rest of my site. So I can upload, I clicked on image there. I can upload an image from my computer. Obviously, it would be mine. And then we also here, if you see free photos, this is that's a royalty-free professional photos provided in partnership with a company called Unsplash. Again, but I want to use my photo here, but those are great for like backgrounds and things like that, really high resolution images. All right, so just uploading my own here. All right, so I've added my picture of my bikes here, right? I clicked on that text where it said, live in moments that matter, and I changed it to fat tire beach cruisers. So we can see I have my call to action button here. I changed that to shop now. That's all ready to go. All right, so we have our main, navigation up top there. Now we have our main banner. Every site will have that. And then now we're just gonna, earlier we had all of our sections picked out, so we can see those now. So I'm just gonna go down through each section here. The very first section is my featured items. Right? I want to showcase my best sellers here. And then I'm going to select them after clicking choose items in the upper left-hand corner there. I selected the 3 bikes that I want to showcase here. And again, within this section, I have different layouts. I can turn on, off the buttons there. I can turn off the description. I can add more photos, right? So each section can be customized. All right, so that one's good to go. Next section is my Instagram feed, right? I can connect it using my Instagram login. This will show up my posts and update in real time. It's going to, when I click in the upper left-hand corner there, set up Instagram, it's going to open up a new window for me to authorize the connection. And then once it does, it's going to show me, hey, these are the things you can do with your Instagram feed here. So on this specific section here, on the left-hand side, I clicked on the section style, and I changed the color to a black background, just to kind of break up some of the white. My next section is location and hours. This is pulled from my Square account, but it can be manually entered here. And again, this section here can be customized as well. You can see on the left-hand side, different things you can turn on or off. Last up, I added the email subscription, right, section to build up my newsletter for future marketing campaigns. Underneath that is the footer. That can be customized to display on my social media icons, right? So I click on it, and I can just add the links to my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my YouTube page. All right, so I've got a real simple page here, right? Made up of what was that, 4 or 5 sections? And it's got my shop all page, which we're going to see in a minute. I'm just going to click on preview in the upper right-hand corner. That's going to show me a preview of the site, what it's going to look like on desktop. There's a little phone icon up there as well. I'm just going to click to see the mobile view. All right, so there's the mobile view. Now, our builder is designed with a mobile-first approach. So nothing you have to do in order to make this site mobile-friendly. It's automatically that way. And of course, and again, it's a mobile-first design. So everything we do is approaching it with, this is going to be viewed on a mobile device. So it's always going to look good on mobile. So nothing extra you have to do there. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to go back to editing. In the upper left there, you can see there's an option to share. And you could share a link to your site before publishing. Maybe you want to send it to someone to get like some feedback. You can do that. All right, back to the editor here. In the upper left-hand corner, I'm clicking where it says home, and I get a drop down here. And what I'm looking for there, where it says shop all, that's my store page. So I'm going to click on that. And here we can see my shop all page. All right, so just like any other page, if I click into it, I can make changes on the left-hand side here, right? I can change the title. I can adjust the image sizes, how many rows I want across. I can change the background color. I don't want to do any of that, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And then I'm going to click publish. So we've got a real simple, page. We've got a store page here with all our items, and we can see our categories there as well. I'm going to click publish. And since I don't have a domain name already connected, it's going to prompt me to pick a domain name. And I use a Square domain name. So I've got mikespikes.square.site. So if you wanted to go to that now, you could, and you could see it live. And that's automatically secure. So really important to note as well, right? So you want your website to be secure. We automatically take care of that. And that's already secure. So you can see the HTTPS there. Now, your other options here, right, are register a new domain name. That's one that's not already registered. You could register with us. I believe it's like $12 a year. Or you could connect a domain name you already have registered somewhere else. So maybe you registered a domain with GoDaddy or with Google or Network Solutions or any of the registrars out there. You could connect that to this site and remove the square.site address. But that part does require the upgrade. That's about $100 for the year in order to connect your own custom domain name and remove any of the Square brand on there. All right, so it's published, it's live. Again, you can always come back and make changes at any time. That's one thing that I see prevents a lot of folks from getting online is they want it to be absolutely perfect, right? I would always say something online that's functional is better than not having anything, right? If you don't have a page where someone can go make a purchase or find out more about you, I mean, you're just going to lose business. That's just the way it's going to happen. So having something there that's up and running and functional, right? I mean, you saw we built a site here in about 35 minutes. I mean, obviously, I know this program inside and out, but again, it's really easy to do, and it's hard to mess up, right? You can always just delete sections, play with them, move them around, add new sections. Really easy to do for that. But again, for those that are looking to get online, get something up and running. Even if it's only like that shop all page, I've seen folks that maybe have a website up and running now. Maybe they had mikesbikes.com, right? But it just shows pictures of their bikes, where they're located, and a phone number, but no way to purchase. They would build this page here, right? They would just essentially delete this homepage, and all they would have left is that store page, and they would just link to that so people can make purchases, right? Just having something for them to be able to purchase that is always going to be better than having nothing. All right, so mikesbikes.square.site is live. We're going to look at my website right now from the customer's point of view, and we're going to make a purchase. All right, so I click in the, going to add a bike to the cart. And here is one that I have that I uploaded extra images to, so you can see the extra images there. 1 second here. And we can see the option for pickup is set as clicked by default. If they wanted to change it to shipping, they could. They could change the quantity there. It's going to click add to cart. And here we can see our cart pop out. And it gives me some options here, right? I can add a coupon code. I can confirm my pickup date. I can add more to the cart. I can remove the cart. And being that I'm in Google Chrome, I'm given the option for Google Pay, right? So if I was in Safari, Apple Safari, it would give me the option for Apple Pay, right? I'm going to skip that and just go to the checkout, regular checkout flow here. If they were to click shipping, they would see that here. That would just kind of what it would look like. All right, I'm at the checkout page. I can enter all of my info here. Now, again, very first thing we ask for is the email address. And again, that's by design. Now, being that I've purchased things from many Square sellers and many Square sites, I've already had my information saved. So you can do that as well. So being that when I enter my address here, it's going to ask me to enter in a code in order for me to for it to populate all my card information, right? And that's not you as the store owner storing that card info. That's Square doing that for you. So really, really secure system there. All right, so all my info is here. You can see all my pickup instructions on the right-hand side. We can see my bike is $350. My bike is $350. No charge for in-store pickup. My taxes applied, and my order total here, right? So if I was shipping, then my shipping total would show up there. And then at the bottom there, we can see we've got our note to seller there. I just type something in there, and then I place an order. And then we can see here, my order is complete. That triggers an email to both me and the shop owner that an order's been placed. We can see my my text message in the upper right-hand corner there as well. I just got that on my phone. And then we can see here, being that it's a pickup, we've got a map to my location as well, just so I'll give them more information about that, right? So that's the checkout flow. Now, let me go back an option here for payment information, right? So we can click edit there, and we can see that we can change our card. We can also enter in a Square gift card. So being that this is a part of just the overall Square ecosystem, Square gift cards will work on your Square Online store, whether it's a physical card or an e-card. They both have a code number attached. They could type that in there. You could add a coupon code. You could add discounts. You can also, if you're using Square Loyalty, that incorporates into your Square Online store as well. So if you have that automatically incorporated, and I had this to earn loyalty points, it would automatically, if I wasn't enrolled, it would offer me to enroll. If my email was already enrolled, it would say, great, you just earned some more loyalty points on this purchase. So all of that integrates with that. You can also incorporate Square Marketing as well for email marketing. All right, so the website's up and running. My customers are placing orders. Where do I manage those, right? So we go back to the Square Online dashboard. We can see here, there's a section here for orders, and I can see those here. I've actually placed a couple test orders, so you can see I've got a couple of pickup orders, and I have a shipping order here as well. And I can click on that shipping one, and I can enter in my tracking ID and then send that to the buyer here. So we can see different options through there. All right, so that's one way you can see your orders. Again, there's where I can actually mark an order as shipped and enter in a tracking ID code for them. We can go back to square.com and log into our main dashboard, and there's an order manager there as well. And we can see those same orders in here, and we can manage them from there as well, right? So if you're just in your Square account on a dashboard or on a laptop, just log in, you can see those there as well. For a lot of folks, you'll see it through here, right? This is on the iPad. You can see you have an orders tab in the iPad, or on your phone, right? You have that as well. You can just click on it and you can manage it from there, right? So when that's on any of the Square point of sales, the free point of sale, the restaurant point of sale, the retail point of sale. This also works with Square appointments, so it integrates with Square appointments as well. All right, so that's if you're building a full-on website, right? For folks to be able to find you online, you start building up SEO, show up on Google, Yahoo, Bing, right? But maybe you're not ready for that yet. But you want folks to be able to purchase, right? You're at home, you're a maker, you're making jewelry, you're creating art, you're making clothes, whatever that might be. But you want folks, and folks are maybe hitting you up on Instagram or on Facebook, and they want to buy something, and you want them to be able to pay you easily, right? You want to make that a really easy flow. You can do checkout links, and you can do QR codes. So we're going to look at that here. All right, so go back here. So number one here is, I just recorded these earlier on my cell phone. So this one is the flow of on my phone here, right? So if you're on your phone, this is going to look familiar. I'm going to add a bike to the cart. I'm going to click charge, and then I'm going to click send a payment link, right? It's going to click share. I can share the link, or I can just send it by a phone. Put in a phone number, I get a link. There's my checkout link there, and I can click on the link, and that's going to bring up in my browser. You can see it's secured. It's got the padlock there, and being that's on my iPhone, gives me the option for Apple Pay. So that would be, you don't have a website, right? But you use a Square. You can create checkout links within your account. You can send those right from your phone and do that, right? So a great way to just have a safe, secure way for folks to be able to make payments to you online. Next up, we're going to see a QR code. So this is the same kind of flow here, right? We have a bike in the cart. I click QR code. There's my QR code. I'm going to scan it with my phone here on my computer. I'm going to scan the QR code, just open up my camera app, and then it opens up automatically again. Checkout.square.site. It's secured. I can make a purchase there. You get the info saying that someone has placed an order there, right? So real simple flow here, right? You can go through there, pay with QR code. This would be great if you're doing this, if you're maybe able to do payments in person, right? Or you're just using your phone. Let me pull up on my phone here. I could do on my phone, right? Let's say I'm a vendor at a market. I could do that from here, charge, right? Pay with a QR code. And so I could, someone's in front of me, I could say, open up your phone, scan it. They could make the payment right then and there. I get the authorization. I give them their goods, right? So they could do that. That's if you're not taking credit cards with like a Square reader or anything like that. But that's two different ways you can take payments just on your phone in person. But again, this all kind of still works. So you can still have your Square website with these options. So again, just different ways for you to be able to take payments and make your sales here. All right, so let me do this here. I'm going to change the screen here. So I'm going to go to the live site here. All right, are you guys seeing the Mike's Bikes live site now? Letitia, give me a thumbs up. Yes? All right. Cool. So this is the site we built, right? I did some other work to it. I incorporated gift cards here. So we have our site, right? So we can go there. One setting that I created, if you have some items with multiple images, right? You can make it so it flips, right, to the different images. This one here doesn't have it. This one does, multiple images, right? There's our Instagram section. I could also, with the Instagram section here, I could tag these to where someone could just click on it and just go into checkout from here. Now, Instagram, right, become a major player for e-commerce and the way people are buying stuff. So when you connect your Instagram account through your Square website, that's going to let you then sell through the app as well. So if you're on the Instagram app, you've seen, right, people selling stuff. They have like a little gift bag, or a little I think it's a gift bag, right, that you can click on their post, and it takes you to buy it. You can do that same thing with your Square website. That's free. There's no extra cost to do that. That's another way for you to be able to sell, right? You have your website. They can go through the Instagram account, and it takes them to your website to make the final purchase there. So and you can do that through Facebook as well. So there's my location and hours, right? We go to tune-ups here. So on tune-ups, I actually added a checkout link here. I embedded a checkout link for a bike tune-up. If I click subscribe now, it lets me do subscriptions through here. So I can have someone who maybe wants to buy tune-ups, wants to just automatically pay $25 a month to have their bike tuned up every month, or a couple times a month. They would click this, and it would just charge them automatically every month. So you could do, there's a lot of different, I probably didn't switch the window there. So you can do different things there with that. Gift cards, right, opens up in the same window. These are all e-gift cards. Again, no additional cost to you to be able to sell e-gift cards. Folks can buy gift cards. They can send it to someone else, right, as obviously as a gift. You can add different tags here, right? Father's Day, I guess, is the next major holiday. So we get the Father's Day stuff set up there. Just clicking on Mike's Bikes here. All right, so real simple, right? Page, I can keep adding sections. As you can see, I can add more pages. I can do more stuff like that here. Let me go back to checkout links. So I did miss a section here. All right, are you guys seeing the presentation again? All right, thank you, Leticia. All right, so this is going into the Square dashboard. Right, so this is within your Square account. You just click on online checkout, and we can see those are all of my items. And if I click on share over to the right there, it gives me the option to copy link, which we saw earlier, right? It would do that. You could create a QR code here. You could download that. You could print it. You could post it. You could post to Facebook and Twitter. So so you can do that with any of your items here, and you can see recent sales. You can see, gives you a lot of data. So we can see here on the upper left here, if I was to click share to Twitter, it would say that, right? Check out what I'm selling. Tap the link. It would take them to that link. We can see the QR code on the bottom left there. And then we can see now the Facebook option over. So we can see the Facebook too, right? That would automatically post to my Facebook page. They could click on it and buy it from there. So giving you just multiple ways to be able to sell online, again, without having to be in person or someone, coming to you and doing that. Again, safe, secure. All of this is done on the free platform, right? So you're not paying anything monthly for the website to be up and running. The only cost there is like when you're using Square to swipe cards, right? We take that 2.99% per transaction. That comes out of your payment. So your website could be up and running, for a year. If you didn't make any sales, you didn't pay anything. Once folks make a payment, right, we take our percentage out of that, and then you get paid the remainder. So real quick, real simple, real easy. So yeah, that's Square Online checkouts. Multiple ways you can sell, right? Gives you multiple options through. This also connects to Facebook Shop, right? So if you have a business Facebook page, you can connect that as well. Facebook owns Instagram, so when you actually connect your Instagram account through there, it'll do it through the Facebook style. It connects both automatically, brings over all your items to be able to sell. So yeah, syncs everything up all in one place there for you. Cool. So that's the end of my presentation. If you guys have specific questions about what you saw or what you're thinking of doing, definitely feel free to ask them in the chat there, or if Heather, if it's okay, they can unmute and just ask a question live. Either way. I'm gonna stop sharing. Actually, I'm gonna share a couple other tests. So that Mike Spikes is not a real business, right? That's my test account. And I have, that one's my test account for retail. I'm sharing now in the chat there my restaurant site. So Kenny's Burgers at square.site. That one's for restaurants. That's got a little bit different look and feel to it. And you can click order now. And this one actually has multiple locations. So you can actually sell from multiple locations. And then there's one more here, Toronto. That one that's got like Square appointments connected. This is a barber shop. That's Square appointments, Square loyalty, and Square gift card setup. So you can see it can work for different verticals, right? So this one, so you've got Mike Spikes, which is just straight up retail. And again, that could be for any items, right? Just because it spikes doesn't mean, oh, it has to be something that big. It could be anything small, big, anything like that. So those are my three test sites that you can see. Yeah, if you guys have questions, Heather, if you have any other updates, we do have, you can always join us at sellercommunity.com. That's the Square community of sellers where you can ask questions, you can get all the latest updates. Yeah, and again, that's free. You can join right from your account.
I have a question.
Yes.
So on the Square account, are customers able to do kind of like a customization of your work that you do as an artist?
So like what, for example?
So a lot of my work that I do, they have to be customized, like either color, length,
Okay.
width of the item.
Mm-hmm.
Am I able to use Square with what I do?
You can. So that would be modifiers. So like for the bikes, I didn't really have much modifiers there. On the Kenny's Burgers, if you click on that one, you can go to order a hamburger and it'll have different modifiers. It'll have like your cook temperature, right? Like medium rare, well done. And then they have like modifiers for like remove mustard, add ketchup, things like that. So yeah, you could absolutely do that as well. So it could be, your work of art and then your modifiers. So you can charge different for your modifiers. So let's say your artwork piece is $100, and to have this customization is free. This customization is another $25. This one is $25. So you can do that with what's called modifiers.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to add another site in the chat here. This is Indigi Exchange. So this is a group, New Mexico Community Capital, that I've done some work with in the past. This is a Square online store here that they're using as more of a marketplace for sellers that go through their native entrepreneur in residence program. So this is like them putting it all together and selling items for there. So they've done a really good job with this website, really adding a lot of functionality to it. But yeah, so that's a Square website right there as well. A good question. Yeah, the customization piece is important. So you can definitely do that. Same thing with like t-shirts, right? So you can have different variations. You can have t-shirts, small, medium, large. Those could be, different prices as well, right? If it's different price for some of the larger sizes, and then you can do colors. If it's different, charge for colors. So you can do that. Yeah. And then so you can also do like you can add a text box as a modifier. So if it's like, hey, add in what you know. Maybe it's like you're building some art, and it's maybe you want to add your family name to it or something like that, right? You can add a modifier text box where they just input the text box what they want you to customize, whether it be a T-shirt or work of art or anything like that. So that can be used in multiple different ways. Yeah, lots of customization options you can do. Yeah. If you have any more questions, feel free to add them in the chat there. I'll answer them as they come up, or if not, Heather, even the floor is yours.
While we wait to see if any new questions trickle in, I just wanted to share with everybody the workshop planned for next month. We're featuring 2 fabulous Navajo entrepreneurs on March 10th and on March 24th. But coming up first on March 10th is Sally Martinez, who runs Martinez Indian Arts and Crafts out of Kayenta. And she has traveled the nation with her business, promoting Navajo artisans and artists, and she's going to be talking about her journey creating her business and running it for the past 35 years. Are there any final questions for Martin about setting up an online store? Martin, you're on mute.
Thank you. So yeah, like the burger site would probably be the easiest one to look at. I can come up with some more examples here, and when you guys update that, I can give you more examples. But yeah, so you can definitely do that. The burger one would be the easiest one because again, it's got 2 modifiers there for cook temperature and like any different add-ons you might want. And then Heather, I know you guys are going to share this one. So this one's essentially the retail one. I have the restaurant and the services one recorded as well. I can share those with you if you want to share those out.
I'd be happy to. And again, this session today is recorded and will be up on our YouTube channel shortly. If there's not any other questions, then I just want to say anahehe to Martin for joining us again, and to all of our participants today for joining us this afternoon. If you have any other questions or want to get in touch with Change Labs or need help getting in touch with Martin, please email our colleague Marcia Greyeyes. Her email is marcia@nativestartup.org, or you can always visit the Change Labs website at nativestartup.org. All right, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.